Welcome to PPR podcast number 98. My name is Paul. The guy to my right is the undisputed star of the podcast, Bert Grossman, president of the San Diego Strike Force and co-host of the PPR, which we should mention, the Strike Force, the title sponsor of
yes,
our
it
podcast.
is.
Bert, would you like to introduce the man on the hot seat?
I will. James Tivao from Madison High School.
It's Tivao, isn't it?
Tivao.
Yeah, Tivao.
Tivao.
We're both wrong.
We're both wrong. James, really we should say your name is Ouch, because anybody who runs into you on the football field, that's what they say. They say, ouch.
Yeah.
Hard-hitting kid. Hey,
Wait, I got a question.
Sure.
Just now that I butchered your name. You know, my favorite player, defensive lineman, was on your team last year, and I always avoid getting him on because I couldn't say his name. Is it Makai Via, or is that right?
Yeah, it's Makai Via.
See, I had it right. You know how many times I practiced that?
well, can we focus on the young man that was agreed
I'm
to do
sorry.
this?
I'm sorry, James.
And he's, hey, James, how you doing?
I'm doing good. About yourself?
All right. Hey, your team kind of reminds me, it's sort of like what we were having our conversation last week with Jesse from Helix. You have a lot of people returning, do you not?
Yeah, we got a lot of seniors returning. Got some young guys too, but mainly seniors on the team though.
I had watching you guys, I had a couple questions. Are you going to be still playing running back this year, being your senior year, or are you just going to focus on defense?
I'm going both ways, running back, linebacker.
Linebacker.
In contemporary football, how draining is that to be on the field? I assume you come off for special teams, but is that how, at the end of the night, do you feel like you played both ways?
Yeah, going both ways obviously takes a toll on your body, but that's what the work you got to put in on the off season and just get your body prepared for that, going both ways.
Hey, you guys have, the one thing I always noticed with Madison and Rick Jackson, the program you built, you see a lot of kids jumping around different programs. No one ever seems to leave Madison. Is that about right, or why is that?
It's just like the bond we have here. Coach Jackson, he does a great job, building up relationships with kids, and it's just a brotherhood over here. So, I wouldn't get why anyone would leave here, but yeah.
When you did you play youth for Coach Jackson or no?
Nah, I played on the Bonita Bucks down in Chula Vista.
So what makes you not? Tell me, because we started asking this question a lot of people. When you're going youth, what makes you decide what high school you're going to go to, or do you already know from when you're really young?
Well, for me, I had a lot of schools on mind, but obviously I have my older cousin Jonah over here and his big brother Edwin. So, just having my family over here and having a good connection with the coaching staff at a young age, I just decided to come here because I felt like it was home and I had good bonds over here. So,
Can you tell, going back to Coach Jackson, he seems to have two personalities. When you meet him in the classroom or on campus, he has those wire-rimmed glasses on and he seems like a very docile professor. Then you stand on the sidelines and a whole different person emerges. Could you talk about what it's like to encounter Coach Jackson in the classroom and then on the football field?
Coach Jackson in the classroom, he tries to throw on the glasses sometimes, but I can still see the football side of him. But he's for sure professional inside the classroom. He's obviously like one of the teachers over here. But on the football field, he's different. He get in you for sure.
Yeah, his vocabulary is different.
Yeah, he's a little different on the field. It always comes out in the Lincoln games, it seems, too.
James, Vince Lombardi, an old coach you probably never even heard about, but way back in the day, he was a Green Bay Packers coach, and he had this quote, and as a linebacker, I want to know if you agree with it. If a man is running down the street with everything you own, and you try to stop him, that's tackling. Is basically saying you play the game with reckless abandon, and form takes a backseat to emotion and just trying to stop the ball carrier. Do you subscribe to that theory that if a man is running down the street with everything you own and you try to stop him, that's tackling?
Yeah, I agree with it, but I wouldn't let someone run full speed at me. I gotta go full speed at them too, make that tackle.
Yeah, there's two, and I mean, just to say how hard this is, so Josiah Cox, you're co-defensive player of the year in your league with him as a junior, which I never give to juniors, and then have somebody like Josiah. But you two are pretty violent, I would say, on the field in defense. I mean, you two are really similar watching. Do you see that, or do you watch Josiah and think you got a different game?
For sure, the intensity is definitely the same. I went heads up with Josiah on the field, and it's like two Rams going against each other. So definitely, we for sure alike. But he's coming from probably like 12 yards away. I'm coming from like 7. But I feel like we still deliver the same boom.
Yeah, intentionally.
The same boom. I like that. Are you a defensive player who also plays offensive side of the ball? Or are you an offensive side? I mean, defense is your bread and butter, right? I mean, that's what you're being recruited to do, right?
Yes, sir. Defense.
And what do you do on? Because I mean, this is another thing that amazes me about you. I'm always amazed when I see guys that have Pac-12 offers and then they also have Ivy League offers, just because they're that good of students. I mean, when you're looking at recruiting, I mean, you mentioned family at Madison and everything else. Does San Diego State get a leg up on everybody because of that, or are you looking elsewhere? Do you want to go Ivy League? What do you want to do recruiting-wise right now?
I obviously got Pac-12, Mountain West, and Ivy League, but I'm definitely looking towards the Mountain West and Pac-12. Having Ivy League is always good, especially for education and stuff like that, and after football. But definitely, San Diego State is up there and one of my top 5s. But for sure, they're up there for sure.
Hey, when are you going to make this decision?
Soon, probably around June, late June maybe. But I'm making on KSI for sure.
Wait, if you're making it in June, you already know who you're going to. Why don't you just tell us now?
No.
No.
Hey, James, you have 2 options. You can do it with Brandon in the afternoon, or obviously I prefer do it in the morning on KUSI. But either way, as long as you're doing it on KUSI, that's all I care about, okay?
Yes, sir.
So I'll text you my number so you give us a couple days heads up so we can do it right and invite your family and everything. But that's what we've did it with a lot of your teammates or your predecessors have done it on KUSI. I'd love it if you kept the tradition going. Bert brought up Josiah Cox, who was our PPR Defensive Player of the Year last year. Is that honor good enough for you, or do you have to be on the podium to consider it a successful year individually?
Defensive Player of the Year would be great, but my goal is I'm trying to get to the Silver Pigskin Finals. I'm trying to do that, get on there for sure.
And when I ask,
no kid from Madison, boy, and this ticks off Jackson. No kid from a lot of kids from Madison have been on the podium.
Nobody's won.
Nobody's won it, and that does not sit well with one RJ.
Mm-hmm.
We have anything to do with it. But what would it mean to you to be the first kid from Madison High to go home with that 30-pound trophy?
It'd be an honor knowing that I came home with the trophy, and being the first guy, because I know there's been a lot of great players up there, from Samson New to Kareem Coles, those guys up there. So being the first to take it home, it'd be great.
What is it? Because I was saying, I talked to high school coaches, and you always ask them who's going to be the best defense player. They all say you this year, pretty much. I mean, to a T. What does that mean for you? I mean, does it make you hungrier? Is it because you have to live up to that, or does it make you slack off a little bit? What's it? I mean, because if you look around the county, they all pretty much say you as defense player is the best guy going into the season.
I always try to keep my mindset on, go mode, stay hungry all the time. My pops always tell me, no matter what people say, just always stay hungry and keep working, keep my head down, as if I had nothing. So I'm gonna stay hungry all the time.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but your dad's still on the staff, right? I mean, he.
Yes, sir.
So what's it like when you have? Is it hard to distinguish the father-son relationship between the coach-son relationship?
My dad, he has the same attitude on and off the field with me. Dad's is always gonna be like that, always gonna be hard on you. But seeing him on the field, I've been having him as a coach since 8th grade, from 7-6, since middle school. So seeing him in high school still the same, still has the same energy. But yeah, it's great having my dad on the field. I like having him on the field.
Does he ask more of you than you? Do you feel like you sometimes there's more burden placed on you?
Uh,
Go on.
yeah,
You won't care.
a little bit. Because my dad, obviously, when we go home, he points me out first. He want to make sure that I'm always on point with everything, my reads down to the line and on the offense side of the ball, and he always makes sure that I'm up to date with everything. So
Hey, what do you guys look? Titus is back this year too, right? It's Mekhi, Titus, and you are back.
me, Jalen Brown, Marcel Hughes, Titus, and Mekhi roll back.
That's got to be pretty confident for you guys on defense, isn't it?
Yeah, defense always gonna stay strong. Same offense. So yeah.
All right, can I venture this conversation into something you don't want to talk about? Last year, was it back-to-back weeks, or was 2 times in 3 weeks you had to tee up against Lincoln, right?
Yeah.
One time at the end of the regular season for the conference title, and then for the first round of the playoff. Do I have that right? Do I remember that right?
Yeah, it was for the Western League title.
Western League title, and then for the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah,
Right.
And then we had a week off, and then we played him.
Talk a little bit. I mean, when I first came to town, it was was Cathedral and St. Augustine. Those were the 2 programs that everybody talked about. And then it became Helix a little bit. You guys crept in there with a couple state titles, but now everyone's talking about Lincoln. And Lincoln's going to come back, and they're going to be loaded. Is that a schedule? Is that a game on the schedule where you put a big circle around it, knowing that likely will dictate your fate for the rest of the season?
Yeah, for sure. When I look at our schedule, I'm focused on every team, but for sure they're up there at number 1 right now. That I'm trying to get this year for sure.
What makes them so good?
They're just dominant, fast to the ball. Their defense, man, it's for sure 11 heads to the ball. Their offense is explosive. They have great running backs, great QB, great line, great receivers, and obviously great coaching staff. Coach Carter, he knows what he's doing when it comes to offense and defense side of the ball as well.
Yeah, and it's hard with them on defense. I mean, you played running back. You watched film. Did you ever seen them in zone coverage? No.
Nah.
When you can play man like that, it's like it's hard.
Yeah, they're all around the ball. They fly to the ball for sure.
Do you have a team that can play with them?
A team that can play with them?
I mean, do you think the Madison and the team that you have, knowing that Lincoln's going to be great again, is the outcome going to change in 2023, or are they still? Are they? Who's the better team, Lincoln, Madison?
Gotta say us. We're gonna see this year. We're gonna play them. It's gonna be a show for sure.
I got another question for you in college, because I mean, you're like 210 now, 215?
Yeah, 210.
So you plan on playing safety in college, or linebacker? Where do you plan on playing in college?
They have me as an inside linebacker. A lot of schools are recruiting me as inside linebacker, but wherever the coaches put me at, I'm gonna dominate and give it my all.
That position's evolving as you look at the NFL and in the college too. The Dick Butkus body types it's now these Brian Asamoah types where they're like
they run.
There's more of a emphasis on how you can run. Am I right about that? I mean, foot speed is really important. More important in your position than it's ever been.
For sure, a lot of these guys. Even in the big leagues, the linebackers are getting a whole lot smaller and a whole lot faster. So definitely having that speed on you could play a big role when you get to those next levels.
Yeah, they have gone to that. There's not a lot of Derrick Henrys anymore. Where it used to be back in the day, it was these giant running backs and pound the ball.
Yet you're still expected to shed blocks, and you're still encountering linemen that outweigh you in some cases by 100 pounds.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
Technique. Just coaches, they always say use your hands. Even in college, a lot of these coaches, they tell you to use your hands a lot. I've been to a lot of the practices when I go to the visits, and these coaches implement the hands a lot. They say use your hands. It's very important. Anyone could take on a block with your shoulder, But when you get to the next level, these guys are like 6'8", 250, 6'5". So using your hands, and the coach always say, even at Madison, they say take a half on. So using your hands, you gotta use your hands for sure. You gotta be violent with your hands.
How many? I'm always wondering this too. I'm gonna ask somebody like you because you're the perfect one. How many during the season? Say you're playing Lincoln that week. How much film do you watch that week by yourself or against Lincoln?
A lot.
Like an hour a day? Yeah, I mean, in a week, like game week against Lincoln, how much film will you actually watch?
Hours of film. I'll be in class watching film, at lunch watching film.
You probably shouldn't say that.
Every off time I get to watch film, I'm on the phone watching film, and then we'll watch film as a team as well too.
What are you looking for?
Like when watching film?
Yeah.
I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at the guards. I'm looking at their habits, how they move. Looking at the running backs, their stance, their splits, how far are they away off the ball, the receivers, their habits, how they line up, how they run to the ball. Looking at everything that could just help me in game, because I like to make big plays, make big reads. So little key stuff like that helps me on the field for sure.
Do you find that normal? Like, is everybody on your team? You don't have to call anybody out, but because I never watched film, but we had we had a projector that was rolling. I couldn't take it to lunch.
I bet there are a lot of guys do watch it, right? I mean, it's a competitive edge if you can pick up one thing.
Yeah, everyone on the team watches film. Coach Jackson, he has like this little thing where he can see like hours and minutes. So,
oh,
yeah.
So you better be watching it.
What happened? Well, so what happens if you're at Friday or Thursday and somebody on the team got like a half hour logged in and you got 18 hours? What happens to the half hour guy?
So we've had a lot of those. It usually happens on a Wednesday night, because Wednesdays we'll go to the weight room and then we'll go watch film for like an hour. So coaches will just call you out. They'll just they'll either make you run or they'll just be like, call you out on film, ask you what is this play, what are they doing. But yeah.
Man, things have changed.
All right, you now are correct me if I'm wrong, 2-year starter?
4-year starter.
All right, so you're gonna be all right. So this will be your 4th year. All right, so you've started 3. You've been on the field since you came to the school.
Yes, sir.
All right, biggest collision that you've been involved with, the one that, oh boy, that one gave me a headache. What collision was your all-time? I'm gonna guess it was Roderick at some point, but tell me if I'm wrong.
Biggest collision. I can't really give you the biggest collision. I can give you like the top 5 running backs I went through.
Okay, top 5 running backs you faced.
Lucky Sutton, number 1. Roderick, number 2. Byron Carwell, number 3. This Saints running back, he's number 4 for me, and then 5 is probably 5. I'll say that kid Tano from Cathedral. When they lined him up at running back, he was pretty hard to go against.
So I got a question on your top. You put Lucky ahead of Roderick. I mean, is part of that because that offensive line was pretty brutal that year? So is that kind of harder that way, or?
Nah, it was just Lucky himself. Like Roderick was like 6'1.5", like 220-ish. Lucky was like 6'1.5", 6'2". So he had like that long frame and he was big. So he had like super long strides. It was hard to like tackle him and catch him in open space. But Rod, for sure, he was a tough running back too.
I gotta bring out my old question I haven't brought up in a while.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, give me a prediction. Who's going to be the 5 people on the Silver Pigskin podium this year, the seniors? Well, they don't have to be seniors. Just who do you think's top 5? If you were picking right now, who's going to be on the podium this upcoming? You, obviously. You got to say yourself.
Julian Sand. I'll say that kid, Jerome Roberts from Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's hard. That's
Either
hard.
Martell Hughes or Jalen Brown, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know the rest. That's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, that's hard to know it.
I know it's hard for us. That's
Yeah,
where do you
geez,
think I get my names from? I got to ask these.
I don't even know
I got to
that,
ask the
but-
players.
Hey, talk to young kids right now who want to be you. What do you say to them?
I say, be yourself, work hard, be a good person, treat everyone with respect, and just work hard. Never feel like you have it all. Don't get too complacent. Just keep your head down and work hard.
Hey,
I got another question.
no, but let
All
me
right.
follow up, and then I'll let you take the rest
All
of the interview. I want to word this properly. We saw what happened to Matt Ariza at San Diego State and how it affected his career. I'm wondering, as a youngster who's watching that happen to a contemporary, let's face it, he came out through RB, he's a contemporary. Is that lesson lost on you about, hey, I got to conduct myself at a level that's beyond reproach? Does the lesson of any athlete, it doesn't have to be Matt, I'm just using that because it's in the news. Does that open your eyes, or is that something that you just, that'll never happen to me? Do you learn from those kind of things?
For sure. My parents obviously prepped me to, be a great man and just do the right thing all the time. Even the coaches tell you do the right thing, but stuff like that, I for sure learn off of just be a good person. That's really it. That's all I try to pray. Just be a great person, a great human being.
Now my question can sound stupid. Thanks. You gonna give me the last one?
I'm just worried, 'cause
Goodness gracious.
it could be something that's you never know when trouble is going to lurk, and temptation is going to lurk, and you're thinking. And in this era, everybody's got a phone, and you're constantly under surveillance. Are you not?
Oh yeah, the phone. Everyone be on their phone, tablets, I'm MacBooks, whatever.
Can't get away from it. Are you ready for my stupid question now?
Your stupid question.
Are you still running track?
Yeah.
So
I'm still.
I always ask this: do you like track, or do you run track just for football?
I love track. Like when football season's over, I'll be missing the guys, but when it comes to track, seeing them out there, I like working out with them and still keeping that same intensity like as if we're on the football field. And obviously press me for football the next upcoming season. So I for sure love track.
Does it ever get? It never crosses over with like 7-on-7, none of that schedule-wise?
Nah, it works out perfectly.
7-on-7 a phenomenon for the offensive guys, or can the defensive guys learn stuff too?
Defensive guys could learn a whole lot of stuff. They can learn a lot of coverages, schemes, especially against teams like Lincoln. They run a lot of spread offenses, do a whole lot of crazy stuff. So as a young guy, seeing that and seeing those type of schemes that they run and formations, it helps you out a lot, getting into your drops and reading plays and picking the ball off.
Turn to your hips.
Yes, sir.
I don't. You're 24 minutes and he's in school.
All right. And I can tell you're looking at your clock. You probably have to go to class or something. But so, James, last question. What's your favorite subject?
Favorite subject? I'll say history.
Why?
Because you get to learn about the big events and stuff like that. And we do a whole lot of projects in history, too. So I like projects.
All right. I'm going to text you.
What was yours? Favorite subject?
Recess.
All right. I was PE. All right. That's good.
Yeah.
Just
But
check.
history, if I would go back to school, though, I'd go back for history, especially military history. I would be fascinated by that. James, I'm going to send you my cell phone number, and when it's time, and you could choose between the morning side or the night side. As long as it's on KUSI, that's all I care about. Okay?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Promise?
Promise.
Pinky swear?
You want my prediction? I always predict the kids where they're going.
San Diego State?
San Diego State.
Oh boy, especially if it's San Diego State. We love those. James, I know you got to go. Thank you very much. Podcast is over. Turn off the machines.
Thank you.